Hi everyone. This is my comprehensive project for literacy assessment and intervention. This class was terrifying when I first started it. I remember the very first day of class, and Dr. Broman said, "You have to write 16 lesson plans," and I almost cried. I was very unsure if I was going to be able to complete this class. I was already having I was already second guessing myself from the beginning, but after the first few classes and after I watched some lectures and I started to get more comfortable and I was becoming less and less overwhelmed by the different tasks that have been given to us. And I think that was the best way that I described it to people that I was describing this class to was it was overwhelming. There was a lot of things to consider. There was a lot of things to get in order and get basically get our ducks in a row before we could continue on with doing the class. So here are some things that were key points to me, things that really stood out to me, and that I will always remember when I took this class. So I did a PowerPoint, and the first one was testing. When I first started this class, I had heard of DIBELS and the QPS and the QRS, um, passed the Garfield test. I've heard of all of these when I had taken my reading internship classes, but I had forgotten it all. And when Dr. Broman had told us that we had to administer these tests, I was a little scared because I didn't remember any of it. I mean it started to come back after a little while, but it was definitely something that was overwhelming to me. But definitely once I had practiced it and once I had become comfortable with them, I knew that I could do it. I was like, all right, I can do this. I can get it done. Um, the next thing was the lesson plans. I thought that 16 were too many, one too many. And once I had gotten through the first set of the PE integration lessons, I was very proud with the progress that I had made. There was a lot that went into them. There was many countless nights and hours and that I would stay up and pacing my living room thinking of, okay, what am I going to do next? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I going to make this come together? I had lesson plans that didn't work out so well, ones that I presented, and I thought to myself, that did not go the way it should have. And there was other lesson plans where I walked out with my head held high because I knew I nailed it. And I think that in order to get those, we had to do so many. And I think that once I got the hang of the standards and the objectives, and once I could actually write those and feel confident about it, I could be more confident in my teaching for my students. The next thing was tutoring. I loved my students so much. They had made such a positive impact in my educational journey, and it will be something that I will never forget. They really stuck with me. I definitely had some challenging students. I had some students that, were there and ready to go. They showed up. There was other students where I had to keep them going, keep the behavior where it was supposed to be, and I knew that once I reached that child, he was upset that I left, which made me feel like I did something right. So the tutoring experiences are something that I will always take with me and things that I will always, think back of like, well, what worked then? Can it work now? And if it does work now, how can I modify it to make it work? Um, I think a lot of the tutoring has shown me how to be positive, how to keep going, use perseverance with these kids. I mean, I've had long days, they had long days, so coming to me at the end of a school day was hard for them. So I think that as long as we're in it together, that they were there. They showed up. They were there for me. I was there for them, and it was definitely a team effort for all of that. Another thing that was influential to me was my pre-KPTP and my reflections that I did. My KPTP was had made me cry several times. I definitely cried when I did that project. There were days where I worked on it and I looked up and I was like, can I even do this? And I did. And I got it done. And it's one of the biggest accomplishments in my educational career that I have ever done and I've ever accomplished. And it's something that boosted my self-esteem, that made me feel that I can do it. And having to do all of the reflections for the KPTP was great for me because I found myself reflecting in my internships. When I presented my formal lesson plan for my social studies internship, I went back to this class and I went back to the reflection processes that I had done, and I was already thinking in the middle of this lesson things that worked, things that didn't. How can I change that to make it work better? It was things that I was already carrying on with me and already applying to other situations in teaching. Another key thing that stuck out to me was the resources that Dr. Broman gave us. I know that she had mentioned several books and several resources that were going to be beneficial to us, and were going to be beneficial to everything that we could take and modify that and get different ideas from different books. I actually bought the Reading Strategies book and I ordered it off Amazon. It was about $40, but it was the best investment I think I've ever made. I pulled different things from that book to put into my lesson plans that the kids loved. A lot of them are hands-on learning that help students get together and help students that struggle with reading and struggle with different parts of reading comprehension and sounding out words, phonics, all that kind of stuff. That's things that helped them, and it got them excited and it got them engaged and it got them learning. So I will forever be grateful for the resources that Dr. Broman gave us, because they are definitely things that I will keep in my classroom for my colleagues to use in the future, for things that I will always reference back to. I also plan on getting the Writing Strategies book because that looks like something that I will use in many lessons in many classrooms that I'm in. And the final thing was that impacted me in this class was the standards. I remember looking at the standards and thinking, well, what does that mean? Then after I had completed this class, and after I completed my lesson plans, I knew that I understood the standards. I knew what to do with them. I knew what they meant. I knew how to apply them and how to modify activities or even construct activities to go with that to meet an objective so my students can be successful so that they can move on and go on to the next step. So for me to have a better understanding of those standards is great. I can actually look at standards across any content area and know what they mean and know how to apply them to use them. Those were some of the key things and key factors that I have learned in this class. I will take everything that I've learned from this class to heart and always remember it. I will be forever grateful for all of you who have helped me and been there for me, and I will be forever grateful for Dr. Broman for everything she's done for us. Thanks, guys.